Page 31, Hello My Baby. Got syncopation in here. You notice the rhythm on the first measure is the same as the rhythm on the previous lesson, and this rhythm is all over the place. So if you understand the rhythm, that's a big part of the battle here. At the top of the page, they're introducing a new symbol called an accent mark. There are other accent marks besides this, but this is the most common. It's a sideways arrow, and it is above or below a note. For instance, look at Hello My Baby in the second measure. The second quarter note, the chord, there's an accent on each staff. You only get one accent per chord because you play all the notes the same. It's like the staccato. You only get one staccato per chord because you're going to play all the notes the same. And that's the accents. I've already talked about natural accents. You just play a little louder. You feel it in that 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You're feeling natural accents. Well, these accents are forced accents. These are a little louder than natural accents. Now, a piano can't do a true accent. You get an instrument that can sustain the note and control it as it sustains, like a violin or a clarinet or a wind instrument or something. They can do a true accent, but not on piano. See, the true accent, the beginning or the attack of the note is louder, and then you come down, the rest of the note's the same. It's just the attack. Ba, ba. Well, with piano, all we can do is play it louder and the piano takes over. So we just play it a little louder. I'll talk about it when we get to the articulation part of the lesson. Let's look this over. See, it's a page long or 4 lines long or whatever. I just want an idea of how long it is. Treble, bass, clef, no sharps or flats in the key signatures. So we're either in the key of C major or A minor, because those are the two keys with no sharps or flats. I'll look at the last measure. What's it here? That is a C chord, so I'm guessing we're in C major. However, as far as the scales go, do both. C major scale and A minor scale, both scales. 4/4 time signature. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we understand what the hands are doing. The right hand, you're starting out with this chord, this 5/7 chord. We don't have the F there, it's in the other hand. And then a rest, you want 4th finger on the G. 1 and 2 and it's the same rhythm as before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And then 1 second finger again. No, please, that's poor fingering. I think that's a poor fingering. Because of the articulation, you can get away with it because you can lift up. It's still a poor fingering in my opinion. So, since I ended measure 4 with second, then I'm going to start measure 5 with thumb because it's there. And then I can scrunch up and use third. Here, I just scrunch up a little bit. So measure 4 was here again. And then measure 5, 1, 3. Here. And then a measure 6, it's a C and an F sharp. Oh, that sounds good, don't it? Okay. I need more coffee for that. And then they want 4th finger again. What? I just used 4th finger. No. Well, the idea is if you use 3rd finger here on measure 7, you got the thumb on the C sharp. That puts your hand up here. If you don't want your hand up here, then we have to use a different fingering. But if you don't mind having your hand up in here, you can always just use thumb on the C sharp. Just stay here in this position. Here. But if you don't want to be up in here, then we do a 3-1 crossover. I just switched the 1 and 2 around is all I did. Here. Here. That keeps me out here. You have to decide. I don't know how big your hands are and so forth. But I do not recommend playing 4th finger on that. Use 3rd finger on that. E, the first note in measure 7. E, then either 1 or 2 on the D, and then the other 1 or 2 on the C sharp. Yeah, and then measure 9, 1 and 2. See those 3 notes? That's a C chord. This happens to be another fingering for C chord. We haven't used it. We've always used this, but we're going to start spreading out more. So this is a standard fingering. So hang it. Usually we play a C on top. So we got a 4-note chord. But here they're only going to the B. They're doing the 7th chord. Rest. And then they want 4th finger. just like it was at the beginning. So on measure 13, it's a 1-3. Rest, rest. Now measure 14, come down. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Remember on measure 15, that C sharp? That's only good for that measure. That's it. So the next C is natural, and then you come up for the chord. Left hand, way down here. Come up here, and then we're here. Broken C chord. F sharp. 1, 2, 3. Now measure 5. It's a half note, 2 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 6. It's a dotted half note. That's 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. Rest, and then 1, 2. Rest and come down. And they want here. No. They're keeping the fingering a beginning fingering for you, and this isn't exactly good beginner music. You're getting a little more advanced than that. We got to adjust our fingering here. For measure 8 going into measure 9, I don't want to. No. I want to, it leads into it. I want to connect it. Here. So I need a fingering that allows me to connect it. Well, I have to consider what's after it. I got these notes. I want to connect those two up to the B. I want to connect those. So how do I do this? So what I'm going to suggest is on measure 8, rather than 5, use 4. That allows me to connect those. I know this, the staccatos and all will do. Forget that right now. We're connecting everything right now. I want a fingering that works connected. I'll deal with the articulation later. Here. Thumb. And then crossover third. You've got to learn to be able to do this. I know it's a stretch. You just do the little exercise to accent. You can turn a little bit, but don't turn a whole lot or any. Relax. The thumb will go a long way if you'll just relax. Here. Now you can do what they're doing. Last line, you're here, and the 5/7 chord, down here. Just cross over, it's like a C major scale. And for the last note, I recommend you reach down and use a 5/2. I don't want to move my hand anymore, and I have to, so I'm just going to stay here and spread out. 5/2 for the last chord. In this piece, it doesn't make a lot of difference because you have the rest you can, but a lot of pieces it comes in handy, so I just have the habit of doing it all the time, just here. Then we put the heads together and see what can happen. Well, the second measure, you're here, here. See how 4 of those notes together is just the 5/7 chord, because I got the G, I got the B, and I got here. I got an F here. I'm not using the D. That's a 5/7 chord. They just rearrange the notes. And then we come up here. So you go through and put the hands together, and then go back through it however many times it takes, and slowly and carefully get rid of the hesitation so it is a steady beat at some speed. And then once we have that, then we think about the articulation and these accents and staccatos. And I'm going to hinge at the wrist for the staccatos. Boom. This. Just boom, boom, boom here. And then the accent, just play a little louder, but it's staccato, so it's a short. Boom. It's on the key and bouncing off. Here. So. And now we're going to connect this. And I suggest you connect all of this all the way to measure 6. The melody, it's all one phrase. Otherwise, it's... And some people will interpret it that way. But they'll put a break in between. So each of these measures, yeah, lift up, lift up. That's how you can get away with the fingering in the book. I would prefer, I think, just connect it. Different ways of interpreting it. You'll have to decide, or your teacher can decide for you. I don't care. Now this left hand, connect it. Staccato. Then measure 10 and accent on second one. It's just a little louder. Bop. Measure 14. I do have a phrase here. There's the first note ends a phrase, second one starts a phrase. So I want a little silence between them. I mean, you're going to get silence anyway. It's a repeated note. I want a little more silence. So play the first note a little shorter. Accent, staccato at the end. Again is boom. Don't stiffen up and pound on it. Let the wrist boom here. You experiment with the interpretation and the articulation, see what you think. The dynamics, it's loud at the beginning. That makes the accent note very loud. And then the third measure now, it's moderately loud. Mezzo forte. Come down a little bit, and that's the melody. This chords need to be soft. Measure 6, that down at half notes melody. These come down. Then this down, and then measure 9, it's the right hand. The left hand still needs to be in the background, even though they're playing the same note names. In my opinion, the left hand is playing a harmony here. It just happens to be an octave lower. So I would keep the left hand in the background. So whatever you're doing here, keep it the same there. Very loud. And then going on, it's moderately loud for the right hand, soft for the left. Okay. Speed. This is a happy piece, but it needs to be accurate. So what can you do accurate? That's what we're after. Now they're showing staccatos on a couple of these chords. At the beginning, the second measure, it's here, and at the end, here. If you want to pedal those, that's fine. And they're going to show in the video if that's all they're going to do. The pedal that goes down with the note and up with the note. So it's a staccato pedal. It's boom, it's here. At the beginning and at the end, just the pedals up and down with the note. It just adds the overtones just for a split second to enhance the volume, the sound, and all that. Okay. Doesn't necessarily make it louder. It just colors. You just get these overtones. It sounds different. Interpretation, again, natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can accent the syncopated note. Ba-bum. Ba-bum. That's the first beat of the melody. Measure 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the syncopation, the accents, feel them. Experiment with it. The speed is with spirit. Be accurate with your spirit, though. Don't take it too quickly. I've heard this at a lot of different speeds, so you do your thing on it. Let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and softs. I'm going to play everything about the same. I will do the accents. I'll give us 4 counts. 1 and 2 and ready and go, and 1 and 2 and rest, rest.